Hey everybody, welcome to Argos TV. It's another beautiful day here in Boise, Idaho. Thank you for joining us. We have a great show lined up for you today, starting with Sarah Weber. Brand new Sarah Weber segment here on Argos TV, followed by some art therapy with Erica. It's going to be some recorded content that we've put together over the recent months. Following that, I'm going to show up with some songwriting at 5 p.m. 5:30, we have a new episode of Be Wise Gardens talking about spring bulbs, followed by another new episode of My Idaho Friends, where Jaime sits down with Tonya Cole and talks about neurofeedback therapy. To close out the night, we have a great episode of Kvell Fitness. Get a nice, good workout before you go to bed, and we shall see you. Well, I shall see you in an hour or so. So enjoy the next hour, and I will see you at 5.
No, focus, okay.
We're going to take a few moments just to breathe and hold that image in our minds.
Sarah, I can hear the birds. I can totally hear the birds. I think I can sense them. I think they can sense me. Oh, they know I'm playing with them. Do you hear them? Do you hear them? Like you're here.
Imagine a scene from your future that you want to have happen.
Wow, you look super zen.
Hi there, I'm Sarah Weber, the Brain Cleanup Coach, and this is your 10-minute mindset fix on paradigm shifts. And a paradigm shift is just a foundational shift. It's a change in the way something happens foundationally or systematically. These things, like a paradigm, you can find them within society, within the different ways that we do things, but also in our minds. And when we experience a paradigm shift in our mind, a foundational shift in our mind, is when things truly change for us. So thinking about the human brain, and if you think about it like a computer with a bunch of coding in there, right? And if you think about using your own Mac or PC or even your phone, there's code written in there that tells it what to do when you push a button, or what to do when you press Control-Alt-Delete, right? There's coding behind the commands that we give it. And this is kind of the same thing for our brain. When our brain is delivered information by our sensory organs, the coding kicks in. The brain it's like a computation machine. And it looks to this coding in order to generate a response that it then offers up to us. And if you keep getting the same response over and over, that's because there's some foundational or paradigm coding in there. And this is the hardest coding to change. It's not impossible. And what you have to do is you kind of start to have to rewrite some coding. You have to write some code that you want and then practice that coding until finally, hopefully, it kind of sets in and overrides the old coding. Because we, unfortunately, unlike on a computer, a developer or a programmer can get in and go in and change some coding, that we don't really have that option per se as human beings and our brains. But what we can do is consciously think of new coding, think of new foundational or paradigm coding, and then keep that top of mind. And what this coding looks like is basically sentences, thoughts, a way of thinking, otherwise known as mindset. So in order to create a foundational shift in mindset, which is required anytime that you want to change something in your personal life, or something is even changing foundationally within society. If you want to get on board with that, you've got to look at the old coding and accept new coding, or start to encourage new coding for your own mind. So let's go ahead and do a meditation just to kind of visualize these foundational shifts. And here's the thing too, let me mention about foundational shifts. Our brains really don't like them unless our brains know that this foundational shift is going to benefit us in a survival sense. But even then, the brain gets so reliant on the coding that it already has that it can just be really hard to get into a foundational shift. Not impossible, but it is. It's hard work to do. But it is required if you are going to actually shift the way your life works and make lasting change happen in your life. All right, so let's go ahead and just get into a meditation together. All right, so go ahead and sit comfortably. Both feet on the floor, back upright. Doesn't need to be rigid, but definitely upright. And the reason for this is just to allow energy to flow freely, through your body, up and down your spine as it needs to. If you think about your spine, what it's doing, it's delivering energy from your brain throughout your nervous system. So when we sit up straight, we just allow that energy to flow more freely. All right, so we have our back straight, but still relaxed. And we're going to start with 3 deep breaths, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Let's begin. Go ahead and close your eyes now on this last exhale. And bring your attention to the weight of your body, where it's in contact with something else. Whether it's your backside in contact with the seat beneath you, your feet in contact with the floor, your back against the chair. You might even feel your hands in contact with your legs if they're sitting in your lap. Just place your attention there for a moment. And now go ahead and bring your attention to your breath. You don't have to change the way you're breathing, just notice what it feels like to take an in-breath, the expansion of your chest, and then the out-breath, what it feels like to just release that air back out into the environment. And just stick with your breath for a few moments here. Okay. And now I want you to go ahead and visualize yourself walking down a path. This path can look like whatever you want it to, and it can be in any type of surrounding that you desire. So go ahead and just take a moment to get that visual in your head. And this is the normal path of your thinking. That's what this represents. But there is something in your life that you foundationally want to change the way you think about it and approach it. Maybe it has to do with health, maybe it has to do with art, or something you're pursuing as far as work goes in your life. Could be a hobby, could be a relationship. But right now, the path you're walking on is a representation of the way you usually approach it. And now I want you to visualize about 20 feet ahead of you, you using the power of your mind to actually shift the ground up. Imagine it like cracking and raising 2 or 3 inches. Just a small shift. And you approach it and you step up onto the shifted ground and things feel a little different. You've created a shift in the way that you approach whatever it is in your life that you want to change, the way you approach it normally. Now the path has been changed, the path has been lifted, and maybe the surroundings change a little bit. And about 10 feet ahead, you again use your mind and you will the ground to crack and shift. And you approach it and you step onto that changed path, and again, things feel slightly different. The surroundings have changed a little bit more again. And you inside your body, inside your mind, things feel a little bit different, a little bit more empowered. And you look ahead, and about every 20 feet, you will your mind to create another crack and a shift, and you can see this happening down the path. These small shifts that you are creating to change things for your betterment and the betterment of others. And you don't resist this, you walk straight into it, appreciating that you can use the power of your mind to produce foundational change. All right, and go ahead and bring your attention now back to your breath. Take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth, and open your eyes. And how was that for you? It's an interesting concept to think about, right? Sometimes when we feel like we need to change, we want to change it all at once. But the brain really isn't designed for that. We have to work with it, not against it. And the best way to change something foundationally in the mind is incrementally. I have a friend who told me once that inch by inch, life's a cinch. So if we take it inch by inch, if we create small shifts, but we do it foundationally, we are going to produce lasting change. Thank you so much for joining me in today's 10-minute mindset fix, and I look forward to bringing you another one soon. Bye.
I see green. I mean, that's okay, right? It's all around me. I'm just observing the world that's around me. It's okay. Don't judge it. Don't judge. Don't judge.
Hello and welcome back to Argos TV and Art Therapy. We're going to do 30 minutes of drawing on a piece that I've been working on for a while called Oh Dear. I have only put 30 minutes in on each one of these, and what you're watching right now is a pre-record. I am doing this on Tuesday and you will be seeing this on Wednesday. So I'll probably be doing another 30 minutes tomorrow that is live. So that's why I'm wearing different clothes than what you saw me in the intro. Right now, I'm really excited because the vision that I have for this is really starting to take shape, and it's really symbolic of springtime. So I've got 3 colors that I'm going to start with on this end of the picture. I've got a blue, a purple, and a sky blue. And I just really want to use those colors and make some little flowers on the trees, these little buds, because it's really, really springtime, right? So let's see. I'm going to go in and start making some flowers. James can play some music so you guys don't get bored. Because I don't know how much talking I'll do. Flowers? Alright, first layer. And so once I get these flowers started, and if you've been watching, this is a layered project, so these are just the colors that are going to show up, and all the detail comes at the very end. It's inspired by a tree that I've been watching off of my back deck that feels like spring just happened overnight here. I don't know if that's how it feels for you, but I'm sitting out this holiday season this weekend on my back porch and went, wow, this is incredible. Did I miss any? Oh, get this guy up here. And another blue. This is a color, the light blue, that will blend that purple and the darker blue in. And this is really the color that is popping off of that tree. Yeah, that's really close. I love it. Oh, it's gonna be fun. Oh, when this is gonna pop so good. I love it. Okay. That's good for now. And now, because we'll be bringing the black in, what I need to do is start blending this tree, the browns and the grays in. Okay, let's take a look into some of the extra little toys I got going on here. I want to get some shades of brown. See if I have any. Okay, so there's one. Okay. That's funny. Pulling this. There we go. Alright, I just got the 15-minute warning and gotta stick to the plan. So, with that, I have to take leave, take a little step back, and we're gonna switch over to the other side of the picture. It's like springtime. Got some buds going on the tree. Okay, so now come in here, start putting some more layers in.
this on my own. You asking where we been, huh? I don't know where to begin, huh? All this dirt on my skin, I just came here to win. I'm more than a man, I'm a monster. Somebody call the pastor, doctor. I got a 6 years for imposters, so now I'm coming for the whole roster. It's not a game, why you playing with me? You can double back, lose track, try and hang with me. It must be in my veins, something you can't tame, cause I break the chains. Can't control me. I got the power, I got the keys. Cause I break the chains. They try to hold me, I'ma push back. Just wait and you'll see. Please excuse me, your honor, but you can't hold me no longer. Can't you feel the vibrations? I broke out and left traces. Go ahead, try to catch me if you can, man. You'll be looking all night, I'm the same, man. New York, London to Japan. I'ma show the whole world who I am. Boom. Major look, huh? Yeah, this one is for the books. All these chances I took still, I move straight on these roofs now. Hold me up or hold me down, have my back or hold my crown. Either you with me or not, but you better give all you got, cause I break the chains. Can't control me. I got the power, I got the keys, cause I break the chains. They try to hold me, I'ma push back. Just wait and you'll see.
Tryna at me, I'm running the race. I gotta pick up the pace. They throwing shit, but I'm gone. Gotta keep it up to my face. Taking anything out of space. Especially stay in the place. They ain't on all of my songs. I don't know what can I say. That's what I'll say by his grace. God is the fruit on the lace. Running around, got me stoned. Man, I feel like I'm stuck in the maze. Shoot at the Oculus case. They sippin' only 96. I can do it on my own. Yeah, they judging me off my mistakes. Flow so heavily. Most of my friends and a friend of me. They're tryna bring out the beast. I'm batting 1,000, my game is elite. I'm running around in the streets and tryna catch up, but they still can't compete. I thought they got in my sleep. He told me keep going, cause you got the lead. Count it up, all the brodies came through, then we added up. They was asking me questions, I had it up. I've been running with God, I just leveled up. They won't speak to my face, got that antidote. They been pointing me on like I'm one of those. I can see what they hate, that just ain't me. Tell me a place that I can't go. I don't think they get it, they don't understand. I'ma do it for my homies and my fans. They don't see the vision, they just see the band. Eyes on the money like a rubber band. That is number one, I follow his command. You can try it, you won't get a chance. I keep on going till I can, and abiding by his plan. They tryna at me, I'm running the race. I gotta pick up the pace. They throwing shade, but I'm gone. Gotta keep it a buck to my face. Taking that gang out of space. Especially if you stay in your place. They hating on all of my songs. I don't know what can I say. They throwing shots, but I say by his grace. God is the shoot, I'm the lace. Running around, got me stoned, man. Feels like I'm stuck in the maze. Shoot at the Oculus case. They sippin' only 96. I can do it on my own. Yeah, they judging me off my mistakes.
Silver step into the play, you bet I'ma hit it. What I'm doing in this game, I did in a scrimmage. Rappers wanna know there's beef and burning up bridges. Deep down they dinner with pain, they just wanna admit it. Won't stop till I get it, speed it up when I'm winning. It's silver and undefined, period, no sin. They tryna give me the fit, I'ma say Jesus and risk it. Children in heaven, generation with them, I pass the baton on my kids. Had to make sacrifices for this. I can fake, had to cut off some friends. Vision late ever since the beginning. Go get the bad, then bring it in. Every L was a lesson you did. Had a nest, had to handle the biz. I wanna whatchamacallit, and it's chilling right over the fridge.
They tryna at me, I'm running the race. I gotta pick up the pace. They throwing shade, but I'm gone. You gotta keep it a buck to my face. Taking that gang out of space. Especially if you stay in your place. They hating on all songs. I don't know what can I say. They throwing shots, but I'm saved by his grace. God is the shoot, I'm the lace. Running around, got me stoned, man. Feels like I'm stuck in the maze. Shoot at the up is a case. They shipping only 9 states. I can do it on my own, yeah. They judging me if I'm a mistake.
Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but I like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for ghosts, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. Now you be surprised at the info you get is by letting them talk, so I'm letting them talk. Rather keep quiet, maneuver in silence, than let them in talk up their body, another one body, that's just how it go. I got some secrets, I'm shaking the game, so they stay on their toes. Stay in your lane, I stay on the go. I can play with the pros, and act like a rookie, so they overlook me, then I double up again, none of their knows, none of them's cold. They just got lucky, but never adapted, so I'm still the one that just come with the flows. At least putting it close, I let them think that they got me, but what do you know? I had them deep before we ever spoke, I'm ready for smoke. I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for ghosts, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. Now they ain't go harder than me, they need a blade in the sheath, a shank in a piece, a crate full of heat, an army, a fleet, a tank and a jeep, a navy, a sea, with ace of marine, an ace up their sleeve, a team of marines, a freak on a leash, a beast with an appetite, razor for teeth, and still they will lay at my feet. Boy, you got the wrong one. I gotta look over all of my publishing statements for Q1 as soon as the song's done. I gotta call up my mama and tell her I made it as soon as my log's done. I gotta read all my trade publications and sip my tea till it is all done. I think it's all fun. I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for ghosts, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything. I need to know everything, who and the what and the where, I need everything. Trust me, I hear what you're saying, but act like it's new what you're telling me. I'm curious, George, I hop in the Porsche, 5 and a horse, I'm ready for war, I'm coming for ghosts, to turn to a ghost, I need to know everything.
Okay. Now for some blending. We'll take a step back. Okay. That's pretty good coverage in that 15-minute mark. So it looks like I've got about 2 minutes left. And we're gonna go to the wide, and I'm just gonna start blending this down here. So thank you for the first half. We'll see you in just a few minutes, and see if we can put some more layers on this. Remember to go to our YouTube channel and check out some of the short speed drawings to see how some of this started to come about. There's also videos from Cody Cornwall posted on there, and past episodes. Okay, so go to ArgosTV.stream
and check out some more episodes. boutique garden design firm. They specialize in edible landscapes, habitat gardens, water-wise plants, education, and gardens and containers, all the way to elaborate sanctuaries for your environment and well-being. Let them help you create your dream garden.
This one's pretty easy because it's just grays and then some of these brown tones. I'm like notorious for bringing way more than I need. I started painting just from like riding on skate spots and stuff. I was gonna roll out just the background, kind of cleaned up a little bit. It's like an old box truck that this guy John owns. I used to go to Boise High and walk past this garage all the time, and he's been letting us paint on it for like 10 years. Like,
can you paint that hole in the tire for me?
Yeah, I got you. I'll just fix it up real quick. Yeah, it's gonna be tight. I like adding a couple of little elements in there that are like really subtle. Finding imagery that I like and putting it together in a meaningful way and just painting for myself. It's nice to just be able to get out and do something solely of your own volition.
I like that. That was damn good.
Thank you.
I was diagnosed schizoaffective.
But you don't have your meds.
I'm about to have some really bad days. No. Please stop!
Time to let your talent shine. Join us for Idaho's premier talent competition, the Idaho Talent Fest, celebrating local talent while raising funds to fight FSH muscular dystrophy. Submit your auditions online April 14th through May 14th at idahotalentfest.org. All types of performers are welcome, including musicians, vocalists, bands, dancers, and more. Selected contestants will go through 2 rounds of online public voting. Finalists perform on stage July 10th in front of judges and a live audience. Cash prizes will be given to the top 3 contestants, with special awards presented to the People's Choice and the FSHD Ambassador. Don't forget the online art auction featuring one of Idaho's best artists, Zach Woolsey. The Idaho Talent Fest is presented by the FSHD Society and CA Dance Advancement. Sponsored by 96.1 Bob FM, Argos Productions, Carpet 911, Silver Creek Realty Group, and Magic Artworks. Our hosts for the evening, radio duo Rick and Carly from 96.1 Bob FM. The Idaho Talent Fest. Don't miss it.
Here on Argos TV, I do a little songwriting here until 5:30, at which point we have Be Wise Gardens coming to talk to you about spring bulbs. Last week I wrote about a lamp missing a light bulb. I don't know what I'm going to write about this week. Let's start by just kind of figuring out some music to write to. So these are just, I guess you would just call them dyads, just kind of major thirds. Or just thirds. Forming a G there. It's gonna be hard to write a song to this with it just being so syncopated. Really like that music, but not quite sure what to write to it. Well, I feel it. Well, I feel it started coming. Well, I do. Well, I feel it starting to come. Coming. Yes, I feel it in the air. Well, I feel my time coming. Yes, I feel it in the air. All the work that I've been doing. All the work that I've been doing. Oh, that's not how you spell that word. Well, I feel my time coming. Yes, I feel it in the air. All the work that I've been doing, it has led me to. I don't know. It has brought me to right here. brought me to right here. All the lows that I've been holding and the suffering I've felt. All the lows that I've been holding. All the lows that I've been holding. All the loads that I've been bearing. All the loads that I've been bearing. The responsibility. The responsibility. All those loads that I've been holding, all the responsibility, all the strength, all the strength. Responsibility, the strength I built to the spot. All this, all the loads that I've been holding, the responsibility, the strength I built to get me to this spot. Strength I built to get me to the spot. can feel the weight on my back. I can get pretty far. Pretty far. The journey's on, but the journey's not half over. All right, looks like I'm running out of time. Not sure where this one's going. Not sure, I mean, I kind of know where it's coming from. Not sure where it will go. But I'll just kind of quickly play it one more time before I go, and then I will see y'all next week for, I believe, our last show of April. So thank you for joining me here on Argos TV. Be Wise Gardens is up next. I don't have a name for this tune yet, but I'm just going to play it one more time. And like I said, thank you for joining us. See you next week. Well, I feel my time coming. Yes, I feel it in the air. All the work that I've been doing, it has brought me to right here. All the load that I've been holding, the responsibility, all the strength I've built to get me to this spot. I can feel the weight on my back. I can get it pretty far. The journey's on, not half over. Thanks so much. I'm guessing I'm clear. Maybe not.
This is my space. Be Wise Gardens.
And this is my space.
Hi, it's Gabrielle from Be Wise Gardens, and what I want to talk about today is not so much early spring things, but early blooming springs. I mean, we're kind of into, what are we, mid-spring? Mid to early spring, all of that rambling. Anyway, but things are starting to bloom. Things are starting to bud out. The things that are blooming right now are tulips and hyacinth and daffodils and all the fruit tree blossoms. Well, a lot of those bloomed the last few weeks, and now the apple blossoms are coming on, and the early blooming stuff is pretty much finished, and the early blooming pears are finished, and some of the late blooming pears are just getting started. But what I want to talk about is, what do we do? Like, if you have tulips in your yard, or you've planted tulips, and then how do you care for bulbs and early spring plants after the flowers have left? Because they only last maybe 10 days, something like that. And so there's just a couple of tricks that you have to do if you want them to keep coming back and being very robust. Because if you do them wrong, they will just eventually shrivel because they won't gain back their energy like they're supposed to. So we're going to start by just looking at some bulbs or some tulips that have bloomed, and some hyacinth, because those are things that are really early, and then they need to be cared for in a certain way. So here, all the hyacinth have already bloomed. These are dried out. They're no longer just these unbelievably vibrant, beautiful colors, and you would have a tendency to want to just like cut them down. You can't do that. Well, you can. It's your yard, it's your money. But what you would do if you cut these down is that you would not get a very strong, robust flower next year. And so you actually have to leave them until they completely turn yellow and wither. What's happening is photosynthesis is still happening with the leaves, and it's delivering energy to strengthen that bulb for next year's blooming season. The other thing that we will do in the fall is we will feed these a bulb food to make sure that over the winter they also are absorbing nutrients and getting ready for the next season's blooming. And the other things so these are completely finished. The tulips are just starting to bloom. I'm going to take you over to some taller ones. These are so cute. Yeah, they're so cute.
What is it?
You know what? The tag isn't here. No, this is the, oh no, yes it is, Calgary Flame Tulip. And these were Monet Hyacinth, and they were so beautiful. They were every color. They were orange, yellow, pink, purple, fuchsia. They were so beautiful. They were definitely my favorites. The next things, these bloom a little bit longer and they last a little bit longer, and these are parrot tulips. And this variety is Princess Irene Parrot and Parrot Pink Tulip. And they're closing up right now because we're in the evening, but these last the longest. If I was going to plant more, well, when I plant more tulips, I should say, it will definitely be parrot tulips, because they seem to be a little bit stronger. They last better in a vase, and they last better outside. Now, this is a key with tulips. So now what I just said about those hyacinth, so say you want to bring a bouquet in. Well, you can't come out and just cut right to the ground. Because if you cut that right at the ground, because you want this nice long stem, there's nothing that will be able to absorb energy for the next 2 or 3 weeks. They will be ugly. They will be sad, little crusty, plants until other things start growing up around them. But it's absolutely imperative. You have to, leave that foliage. So what you do is you would leave these 2 big leaves, and you would cut it right here carefully with either a sharp knife or some very small like plant pruners. And then you would take that in the house and pull away any extra foliage so that it doesn't rot in the glass. And so anyway, so then what you do, and so with these little short tulips, obviously that isn't as possible. You'd have to put these in a very short vase. I like to leave most of my flowers in my yard. We had somebody stay the last week when we went away, and
I asked them, I said, oh, make sure and enjoy the tulips. Cut a couple of bouquets if you want to. And I didn't tell her those tips, and I'll show you what happened. So she came out and she made herself a couple of bouquets, but you can see that she cut them right off at the base. I'm hoping that because these were brand new bulbs, that there will be enough that energy that, you know, 1 year of not leaving the foliage will be okay. But you definitely want to leave as much foliage as possible. And you can see in here, the plants that are going to come up and cover this up is this honeywort. There's celosia that self-seeded itself. The mums are starting to come. Now this is a little tip about mums, is mums, you want those to bloom in the fall. And even though they're growing and they're going to get all crazy in the next, you know, month and a half, you got to keep pinching them back and keep them nice and low so that you get the flowers in the fall rather than the flowers in like late summer. And then by September, October, when you want them to be blooming, they'll already be spent. So make sure and keep those very low and pruned down. And you can see that in here, this is where they're going to start sending up buds, and you just pinch those off and keep them short. The other things that have started coming up crazy is all of the self-seeding poppies from last year. This is a mixture of bread seed poppies and Shirley poppies. And I have been weeding them out of pathways and places that I don't want them to grow, because obviously they just keep seeding, and they've even seeded into the lawn a little bit. But here's an example of the hyacinth. These hyacinth are still blooming. They smell magnificent. These got little double blooms, which is really interesting for a bulb. This is one bulb and it got 2 blooms. Each one of these did. And this variety is Carnegie. And so that's really interesting. I'm going to look that up and see if that's something that it was hybridized to do that, or if it was an anomaly of some sort, but that's kind of cool. And then this little short tulip is Peach Melba tulip. So I think that they were probably supposed to be a little bit more peachy colored. So I'll need to give them a good dose of food in the fall to make sure they come back peach. Over here is another example of some tulips that just got cut right off. And so I'm just going to keep an eye on those because I just want to make sure that they come back. And there's some other little short bulbs that I can't remember what, oh, wood quill. This is wood quill, and so that's pretty exciting. These are foxglove, and they're from last year, so we seeded them last year. They grew as little tiny plants all last summer, so this summer they'll actually bloom, and because they are biennials. And then what you'll need to make sure and do is shake out their seed pods so that they reseed for the following year. What we've been doing in the yard is we've been going through a lot and thinning things out, pulling things out, because you can see flowers like, what is the Love in a Mist. So we had Love in a Mist in here, and it's completely reseeded itself, and it'll probably be a little bit too full, especially right next to the lawn edge, and I don't want it falling into the lawn. And so those things I'll thin out a little bit. And then we have this mystery plant that I don't remember planting this.
Kind of like white top.
It does, doesn't it? And it's in the grass, and
Or
so that's
calendula.
no, it's not calendula. I don't think it's white top either. I don't know.
I'll have to wait until it blooms.
Yeah, but it's in the grass, so it's like it's something that was here that has seeded itself. So that's really interesting. I don't know. Yeah,
So we'll wait
it's a mystery flower, exactly. And then if you come around, the lilies are starting to come up. I fed those really well in the fall because I wanted them to be a little bit stronger with thicker stalks, and I put them somewhere nice and sunny to make sure that they didn't get too tall, because when we moved them here, they were actually about 7 feet tall, which made them a little too tall to like cut them easily, and they were, you know, flopping around. So I'm hoping that those will stay a little bit shorter. Here's some more tulips here. I actually put about 3 inches of mulch over this bed in the last fall and early spring. So these tulips aren't as big as they normally, because they had to push through an extra 3 or 4 inches of basically mulch to get up. So next year they'll be a little bit stronger and bigger, because I'll make sure and feed them as well. And this is a really cool early spring bloomer, which is a contorted filbert, or a, what was it called, like old man walking stick or something was a common name. But these are the flowers, and they start blooming in early spring. Like I think it was February when this was starting to send out these cool little flowers, and now it's starting to get its leaves. And then if we come over here, last fall we also really heavily fed our peonies to make sure that when they came back this year, because these were transplanted from a former home and they'd been slow coming up as far as getting strong, and this year they have really nice strong stalks and they'll be really beautiful here or as cut flowers, and the bud heads are much larger than they were last year, and we just used a blooming flower fertilizer specifically for blooming flowers so that it gets lots of phosphorus. And that's the key with blooming flowers. And then over here, these were also transplants that we dug up a very large peony that in a house that was going to be torn down, and we divided all of those pieces into this long row. So remember, you can always, once your peonies get a certain age or size, they actually like to be divided. They want more space to grow instead of just continuing to grow in a circle or an oval. And you can turn them into a line and just keep growing. So we're gonna go this way. This is a plant that is it's an oak leaf hydrangea, and it's beautiful, and we moved it because it had grown bigger than the thing that was behind it in a different bed. And so just remember, when you decide to move something, you want to make sure, and this, because of the height of this, we dug a root ball about this big around and about this deep. That actually there was 3 of us that moved it because it was just too big. But we wanted to do that because I didn't want to lose my flowers or lose any of its, well, I didn't want it to die. So make sure that when you are moving things, it's totally possible. Another thing that Isabel would suggest is cutting it completely off, back down to like here when you move it. And then that also gives it a better chance of survival because it's not putting a bunch of energy into all the top growth, and it's just putting it into the roots. So I'm hoping that by not pruning it, I didn't, damage it, but it is leafing out, and I'm watering it every single day, and it's in a really well-draining and moist spot. So I'm hoping that it does well and it starts. And again, we moved it probably 3 weeks ago, so that we give it lots of time to acclimate before it gets really warm. So this is another area that we've been talking about a lot because the way it turned out wasn't very beautiful to me. It's just kind of a hodgepodge. And so the way it's going to be edited is that euonymus is just going to be taken out and maybe put somewhere else. It's a very large shrub, and I thought it was something different because it was one of those no tag plants at a plant sale. And so that needs to go, and then we're going to just kind of rework this area to look like this area so that it matches a little bit better. It has a little bit more flow and different textures. This is my favorite bed in the front yard, just because of how the mondo grass comes through the creeping thyme with the lavender behind it. There's a red hot poker in the background. There's a chartreuse oregano, a chive that's a garlic chive, and it has a really big seed head like an allium, which I really like. And then with these ground covers, with the texture of those and the globe mallow and the sage and just this whole thing. And then we've got this brand new little espaliered apple tree, which I'm going to put posts on either end of this bed, and it will be espaliered permanently right here. And you can see that it's 3 different types of apples, and so I'm pretty excited about that. And in, I think, 2 weeks, our video will cover what to do with your apple fruit if you don't want to spray them. And we will talk about like how to cover the fruits to keep coddling moth and different birds and that kind of thing from pecking holes in them. They're still never perfect, but I don't think they have to be if they taste good. One of the other things that happened this early spring is when it got down to 28 degrees 2 nights in a row, this had already leafed out, and the only places that appear to have survived are the things that were more against the house and protected, and the rest of this either froze. That's all I can think, is that it froze, because I have similar damage on a couple of rose bushes that had leafed out, because this was a beautiful tree last year, and it, like I said, it had completely leafed out. And then when we got back, these were dead. And so I don't know if it completely killed it, or if it will send out some new buds now that it's warmer, or what's going to happen with that if I just have to prune it completely back and bring it back. What do you think? Yeah, so that's kind of sad, but oh well, you win some and you lose some. So then on to these beds. All of the berries are blooming. We've got yezberries, we've got honeyberries, we've got blueberries, and of course the bees and the little the tiny wasps and all the different pollinators like solitary bees and everything have been busy in all of these. And with our blueberries, we've really tried to get early blooming, mid blooming, late blooming, so that we have different harvests of blueberries, because then, you know, with our family size, we end up eating all of them. We've never gotten so many berries that we've been able to freeze them, but that's kind of the goal. And so we've just kept planting, you know, a couple of varieties every year, filling in. As you can see here, super excited, the strawberries are blooming. This is an alpine strawberry called Regina, and it's a very small fruit that tastes kind of like sweet tarts, which they're just to die for. We really loved them, and they fruited literally from about 3 weeks from now until October last year. And so that's a really, really good choice for a berry. We've got more blueberries and herbs over there. These have finished blooming. This is an apricot, which I think that it froze, so we're not gonna get any apricot fruit. And, you know, we're gonna deal with that. The nectarine just finished blooming. You can see the buds on it are starting to dry up. And so we're gonna hear the lawnmower, sorry. So then these are our standard strawberries, and I don't think we have a name in these. I think these were just like something I got it. I don't even know actually, but they get really big. They're not as flavorful, they're not as sweet, but they're still really tasty, and we really like them. And then there's some more of these in there. And then I just planted another alpine strawberry, which is more of a like woodland, smaller strawberries, and it's tasty. And I just got these in. I got 25 starts of those. They're called Sparkle Strawberry. And so I'm excited to see how those taste different. And then here is more parrot tulips. And you can see that they're kind of, they don't even look like tulips. But if we were to, the best time to pick a tulip for a bouquet is when they look like this. Because what you're gonna get then is it will come in the house and it will slowly develop. And these tulips will actually last a couple of weeks in a vase. And these are orange and yellow, and they look green, they look super ugly, and then one day they just like open up, and they are the most amazing flowers. Last year we were just in awe. I was just like, I want so many more of those parrot tulips. They're beautiful. And the bees are happy coming out every day. And then one of the things I did yesterday is I got my potatoes planted. And if you've been watching, you saw our potato experiment of last year, and we got some potatoes, but not a lot. And so I'm gonna do the more suggested version of how to grow potatoes. So basically there's about this much soil in the bottom of this. Then I cut the potatoes and I laid them on top, and then I just put a tiny bit of soil over the top. When they've already sprouted, and so then as soon as I see green and they get it, you know, 2 or 3 inches high, I'm going to put more soil and more soil. And what that does is that forces the stem to just keep sending out root shoots, which the potatoes are on the end of those shoots. So as this gets more and more full, it will get more and more potatoes. The other thing the reason I put them here is that now I can monitor their watering a lot more consistently. I can come out here and water them every day and give them a good soak, because I had them on the drip system last year and it just wasn't enough water. And so they just kind of struggled a little bit. And then we're gonna go, actually let's go in the greenhouse. The greenhouse is bursting with life. We got all of our dahlias started. We got all of our little seeds that we wanted to start this year, including like our peppers and eggplants and the things that we're not gonna just buy from a nursery. Isabel's experimenting with some ginger, so we're hoping that that will sprout. Here's our onions and leeks and some different flowers over here. And this is another bunch of strawberry starts that are for a client. So those are just laying in there until we plant them. And one of the most fun things, what did I do with them? Oh, one of the most fun things I started this year is I harvested my canna seeds from the canna lilies. And we started them from seed, and I just moved them up. They were, you know, just in the little starter packs, and now they've moved up to here. So I'm super excited. It'll be interesting to see if they bloom or if it's something that has to wait, you know, like a full season before. But I'm prepared to experiment with that. And is anything else in here that's interesting? I don't know, it doesn't look like, oh, this was the other thing. We started hydrangeas from just cuttings. So basically we took cuttings, we did an experiment where we put some in water in jars in the house, and we put some, just dipped them in root accelerator or compound, and then just stuck them in the soil, and they actually rooted. These are chlorotic because they need some nutrients, because they're flowering plants that need a lot of phosphorus. And so, but you can see that it's a nice new foliage here. It's growing from the bottom, and these were literally just cuttings that we just stuck in the pot. So that's pretty cool. So we'll go outside. Oh, and these are the Hesperalo, which are false yucca, it's my most favorite flower. Look them up because it's totally worth looking at them. We have some over there, but I guess I don't know how much time we have, but we could walk over. All right, let's walk over and we can see it. So there's nothing very interesting over there yet, other than my tree sawing. But as you can see, we're trying to get this cleaned up. It's a long process when the bigger and bigger your property gets to get everything kind of clean. But you also want to leave a certain amount on the ground because your pollinators and that kind of thing are hibernating in there. And so we don't want to cover it too quickly with mulch, and we don't want to take away too much of the leaves. Oh, this is a gummy berry, and it's completely covered in flowers. And so we're going to see if we get berries. It's kind of like a gooseberry, kind of that bitterness of, but I just mean the way it tastes. It tastes a bit like a gooseberry, and it's yeah, it has more of like a currant texture. So it's an interesting berry, but we've never gotten enough of them to make anything with them yet. So hopefully this year we'll get a bunch. So this is what that little grassy start was from. And I just love these because they get this really strong spike about this tall with a bright fuchsia pink flower on the end of it. They call it false yucca or false aloe? False yucca, because it kind of has that, habit of a yucca plant, but it doesn't spread the same, and it doesn't just keep, proliferating like the yucca do. And it looks more like I don't know, I guess it looks like a really thick grass, but it has a beautiful flower, but it isn't this. Even though this has a really beautiful flower too, it has to be really, 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 really managed. Otherwise it just keeps spreading, which you can see in here. It's, these are constantly popping up from the roots. They spread by rhizome or by root. And so that's just a problem. But I like the way they look, so they get to stay as long as I can keep maintaining them. Something else we have here is a variety of hydrangea. Put some stomping on that. And at first I thought that they came from this part of the stalk, but they don't. It doesn't seem to. This is all really dry and crispy. And there's growth from down here at the very bottom of the base. And so I'm just going to kind of keep watching it, and I'm wondering if it's more like the hardy hibiscus. Yeah. Yeah, so it's coming from there. So I cut that back today. And much like the hardy hibiscus, which also turns into this mighty shrub about this tall every single season, which is really remarkable.
Sorry, about what tall?
Huh? It's about this tall, and it gets about 200 to 300 flowers. Oh, don't fall down. Over the course of the summer, and they are as big as a dinner plate. They are really beautiful.
300?
Yeah, flowers. Yeah, over the whole season, there's so many flowers. Last year I harvested them and dried them, and then I accidentally put one that wasn't completely dry in the bag, and I lost all of them. And I had stopped counting at about 150, so sadly. So that's basically where we are with the garden. We're just kind of watching things. We're letting things kind of establish where they are. We are dividing things. For example, this, oh my gosh, Dark Towers, Penstemon, has a baby, little pup right here. So Isabel's going to take that to her house. You can also divide them, but it's easy just to wait for those and send those to other people's houses. Another thing that has spread quite a bit is the geranium, the hardy geraniums. And so that's the mother plant right there, and you can see all the little the little ones that have sprouted up in different places. I have potted a few of those up and given them away, or just thrown them away because they just keep spreading. They're kind of like dandelions that way. They're very pretty, but you don't want a whole entire bed full of those, so you got to keep like managing them. Something else I did is these echinacea had reseeded themselves right here at the edge, and so I dug those up and planted them in the back, which looks like they need a little water, just because I really like them. They got really tall, they're really beautiful. The pink Magnus, yeah, something, I don't know, I can't remember, I think it's Magnus. But anyway, they got about 3 feet tall and they were really beautiful, very prolific. So I put those in the back.
You have 5 minutes.
5 minutes? What do we talk about for 5 minutes? We can talk about Paul coming outside to see what's going on and then running away. Basically, this year in our gardening journey is to kind of just hone in on goals, and I want to get really focused on food production of the food that I really want, which is some tomatoes, peppers for salsa, because that's really important to me, and herbs like that. I'm not growing everything like you tend to when you get to the seed section, or you get to the nursery. You're like, I want everything. Oh my gosh, I want everything. But for me personally, I just don't have the time. Even though I have the space, I want to get really good results, and so I don't want to spread myself too thin, and I don't want to plant so much that I'm not taking care of it, or I'm not harvesting it, even if it just does its own thing and grows. Last year I just didn't harvest everything, and so then it just becomes bird food or compost, which then that's kind of an expensive experiment, right? And so I really want to get good at some food production, and I really want to focus on just fine-tuning all these areas of my yard, and that's even if you just have like a garden worth of pots, then you still want to just take care of those the best you can. So even if you just have a patio and you've got 4 pots, there's no reason that you can't make those the most amazing pots you ever had. That just takes pruning, that just takes paying attention. If there's any pests, that make sure that you get them fed really well, because the other thing with a pot is that the nutrients expire pretty quickly, so you have to make sure and do supplemental feeding throughout the season and keep those deadheaded and all of that kind of thing, so that you really have these beautiful things. Now if you're going to do food in pots, same kind of thing. Don't pack them too tightly, but you can interplant and then make sure they get supplemental nutrients. If you ever have questions, if you ever need anything, just you can either DM us on Instagram with BWise Gardens. You can send us an email at bwisegardens@icloud.com. If you ever need professional help with a design or consultation, go to bwisegardens.com, and we have a contact us form, and we also have free stuff on there. So if you want a garden guide, or you want a watering guide, or whatever, we have different things at different times, and so you just check out our website, and we definitely have those things there. And then we have our plant society. So that's BWise Plant Society on Mighty Networks, and that's just a fun place where we're starting to put curriculum and different things that you can just do at your own pace. There's no obligation to be there all the time. What's that?
What kind of content?
Well, the content right now is Houseplants 101, it's perennial gardens, it's design, it's, what else did we put on there? We have, I mean, every time we kind of exhaust a subject and get a PDF together and get some videos, that's where we put it. And then we are on YouTube as well, and that's just BWise Gardens on YouTube, and we kind of put up all of these videos that we make. We put those up there just so that we have a placeholder for them if you ever need to look for something that we talked about in the past. And otherwise, that's us, and we just really want to help people. We want to inspire people. We want people to think more and more sustainably and just get more into gardening. Plant more food, plant more pollinator food, and have fun with it. Hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next week.
And welcome to another episode of My Idaho Friends. As always, I am your host, Jaime Lima, and I want to thank you for taking the time to come and checking us out today. If you've been watching us from before, if this is your first time, we're super stoked that you're here. As always, big shout out and big thanks to Argos Productions, Jeston, Erica, sweet baby James in the back, making sure that everything's working, and also to our friends over at the Alliance of Idaho. If you do not know about the Alliance of Idaho, while you're watching this episode, there's going to be a link at the bottom. It's a nonprofit that is very close and dear to our hearts, and they're out there looking out and watching out and protecting the human rights of those marginalized communities, which are the ones that are the most in need. So please check them out. Check them out, the Alliance of Idaho. Check out Argos Productions. Again, at the bottom, there's going to be a link. They are the ones that help me set up this awesome show that you guys keep tuning into. They can help you with any promotional content, whether it's for your website, make you a website if you don't have one, help you with content for your social media, and they also do film and live events. So for all of your needs, Argos Productions can help you out. Now, we are having, as I always say, an awesome sauce episode today. I get to be joined by my great dear friend, Tonya Cole, and we're gonna have a conversation about her amazing journey into how she helps people like me, actually, with neurofeedback therapy and her services. So thank you so much, Tonya, for being on the show today.
Thank you.
So, Tonya, usually we do a little thing in the show in which, like, you know, we go back 10 years and where were you then, and you know, where are you right now after that, and then where do you foresee, you know, being yourself and you know, in the future. But before we start jumping into all of that, let's just actually do a little bit of a warm and fuzzy of where you're at right now, but not too much. So how about you tell everybody at home who you are and what it is that you do?
Well, my name's Tonya Cole, and I was a pharmacist for 20 years, and recently, within the last 2 years, opened my own business providing neurofeedback therapy for people who are working on certain conditions, including insomnia, trying to improve their mood, headaches, anxiety, depression, PTSD, trauma. So anything that is related to brain balance and brain stability can be trained actually into a more aligned frequency. So neurofeedback's been around for about 40 years, and we are getting more and more kind of high tech with it. We actually use EEGs now to determine kind of the imbalances that are occurring within each brain. And then as we work through the treatment, we train the brain back into a more balanced alignment. So that usually results in decreased symptoms, including being able to sleep better, having a more positive mood, having less anxiety, fewer headaches, better pain control, etc.
Awesome. And I can attest to that because guess what? You helped me out with those services.
Right.
Excuse me, not those, your services. And you know, that's how I got to know you. And that's why you're here. The name of the show, My Idaho Friends. So thank you. Where would you say you were at 10 years ago? Walk me through that a little bit and about the journey before you got to where you're at right now with your business.
All right. So 10 years ago, I was a pharmacist. I had graduated from pharmacy school at the age of 23. So I became a pharmacist at quite a young age. And kind of before I think at 23, you think you want to do something for the rest of your life and you know kind of what is what, but I had really not been exposed to the world. I mean, at 23, I was, you know, I had basically just been in school my whole life. And so when I got out into the world and started practicing pharmacy, it was a little disillusioning. So I'd studied for 6 years, gotten a doctorate, and then really the majority of my day was spent counting pills into bottles and kind of a distributive function. I sometimes say, and I hope I don't offend any pharmacists, but I sometimes say that pharmacy is like a highly paid McDonald's employee because you're just in this processing, and I mean, they're even 24 hours, drive-through. It's really become just a very impersonal part of medicine, and that after all of that training and education, I wasn't using very much of that.
Oh, wow.
And the place that I had been working for the last 10 years, I actually kind of was very lucky to get into a niche of pharmacy called home infusion, which was wonderful. I really loved that type of pharmacy. We did compounding of sterile IV preparations in a clean room for people who needed IV medication at home, had just been sold and bought out, and so all of us lost our jobs. And I was looking at having to go back into retail pharmacy or hospital pharmacy. And so I was in a big transition point with my career. And then all of a sudden, to top it all off, I was in a skiing accident 10 years ago. And so I had previously enjoyed very healthy physical existence. I'd climbed a couple mountains the year before this accident. I was a mountain biker, hiker, and then all of a sudden I had a skiing accident and I had 3 surgeries. I had a life-threatening staph infection. I was left with chronic pain, insomnia, anxiety, depression, kind of a lot of the things that people experience when they've gone through a physical trauma. And all of the things that I had used in my, Western medicine where I had been trained, all the medications were really failing me because I didn't want to be stuck on pain medication for the rest of my life, or medication to help me sleep for the rest of my life, or medication to stabilize my mood for the rest of my life. And my physician was telling me, you are probably going to be on these medications for the rest of your life. And it just wasn't acceptable to me. I was too young to look down the road and say, okay, I'm just going to be in pain, dealing with insomnia, having daily headaches, difficulty with mood for the next 40 plus years.
Yeah. So essentially, and I'm not here to speak ill of your previous physician, but you were placed in what a lot of people deal with, which is essentially just management rather than finding some way in which you're no longer in need of said medications.
Right.
And it sounds like there were a number of them.
There were a number of them, and they weren't medications that I wanted to take for the rest of my life. They had a lot of side effects. And they were causing me to be, I was still a pharmacist, so less focused at work, having difficulty paying attention. It was not ideal in any sense of the imagination. And then the other part for me was just treating the underlying cause, to think that there couldn't be a resolution to the underlying situation, i.e. chronic pain. That was really frustrating too, that I was just going to have to deal with, because anyone who's been in pain knows that pain management they call it pain management for a reason. It doesn't actually end the pain or decrease the pain. You're just constantly in this place of, trying to get comfortable enough to function, but not really thriving.
Wow. And that's on the physical side of things.
Yeah.
I imagine that probably also made it very challenging, in here and in here to be able to just get through your day.
It did, and my husband decided that was the time to leave our marriage at that point. So I was also dealing with, some heartache, physical pain, emotional pain, being a single mother of 2 pre-teenage boys.
Oh, that's I don't have that stage yet, but I've seen enough.
Yeah, they were 10 and 12, which are tough ages for boys because they're in just that prepubescent, challenging authority phase of life.
Wow. Okay, so we have a life-changing accident, tons of injuries, 3 surgeries, still working, now divorced, raising 2 boys, ages 10 of 12, by yourself.
Right.
That's a lot to juggle and handle. And all the while doing it with not being there 100%, because physically, I'm assuming you were probably limited at that time, and then mentally, due to the medications that you were taking, maybe you were in a little bit of a fog, or just enough that you're able to do your job, but not be at a full capacity, the way that a healthy person is.
Yeah.
Whew. Which probably then brings us to now, and I don't want to make assumptions, but what happened? What was the catalyst in which you go, okay, I have, I'm a pharmacist, which is a great career,
right?
Regardless of how you feel about it now and back then.
It's a wonderful career,
but it was just not really moving the needle for you. What was it while you're struggling and I shouldn't say struggling, but just facing all these challenges on your own? That's a pretty bold move to leave the security of what is a very stable, probably well-paying career into launching your own business. How did that happen? Because the assumption now for me is you were introduced to neurofeedback somehow.
Right.
And then decided to be like, none of this, I'm going all in on this.
Well, some of the decision was made for me, and some of it was made by myself. I mean, I basically got to a breaking point physically and emotionally and mentally, and I needed to take a couple years to just recover from all of the things that had happened. So I ended up taking, what I planned on taking was 1 year off work to just heal and to deal with the changing life circumstances, to be more present for my children. I'd never been able to be home with them as a full-time parent, so it felt like that would be a good opportunity because I had these other things that I needed to accomplish at the same time. And it ended up being 2 years. It took about 2 years to recover. And part of that recovery journey, I was just looking for any potential like treatment. I don't like to use the word cure, but something to get me to back to where I was and not to have to be on these medications for the rest of my life. And so I was very fortunate. I had a friend who was introduced to neurofeedback, and she actually wanted help kind of figuring it out. And since I had this medical background, she was like, hey, do you want to do this with me? And if you do, then you can be treated for free. So that was a great opportunity for me. So I got to kind of learn on the job, and it's not something that just a pharmacist would know how to do. I mean, it was something that required extensive training, but I was able to start neurofeedback therapy, and within probably a week, I was sleeping through the night without medication. So for me, that was just like, it was shocking. I didn't think that that would be possible. So, feeling that profound shift, and I was super motivated, which is also kind of a part of anyone's success, to get off these medications. So I kind of, after that first week, aggressively started tapering down off my medications as I was doing my training. And by the time I was finished with my training and completely off all the medications that I had been on for several years, I was like, okay, this is the kind of medicine that I want to be a part of. And that was just my jumping off point. At that point, I still needed financing to purchase equipment. I needed more training. And it actually took almost 5 years for me to get to the point where I could open my own clinic. And so I had to hold the vision for a long period of time. I worked some other jobs. I kind of made ends meet in the meantime, but constantly looking toward, okay, this is what I want to do. How can I make this happen?
Wow. Talk about eyes on the prize.
Yeah.
Whew. How long is the training for being able to facilitate neurofeedback services or therapy, at least at the level that you do?
Right. Well, training is highly variable. I mean, there's certain pieces of equipment that are sold to just anyone without any training.
Nope.
So the type of equipment I use is actually only sold to a healthcare professional, so I was able to get it with my pharmacist licensing.
Okay.
And people, like, I have my mentor who trained me has been in neurofeedback for 10 years. So when you ask how long is the training, I would say 10 or more years, because she is continually training. She feels like she's still learning. And the brain is incredibly complex, and we're still learning more about the brain every day. And we just found out that the brain actually has its own immune system. I didn't know that when I was learning about the brain in pharmacy school.
I was this old when I learned that.
Yeah. So training can be as long. It can be like, for me, my initial training was a week-long boot camp in Colorado that was followed by a mentorship that I did. It was a 25-hour mentorship with an expert in the field, and then didactic coursework, and then a licensing test. So, but not everyone who provides neurofeedback services is certified or credentialed.
Is that something that people that are looking to try neurofeedback services, is that something they should be aware of? Is that something that they can find easily out? Is that something that they should be asking when they're approaching somebody that facilitates this type of services?
Well, the brain, like I said, is incredibly complex. And if someone is working with your brain, I would, as a client, I would want to know that they had done some extensive training. So I think that's a great question to ask when you call someone about their training and about their experience and where they've, who are their mentors, who they've learned from. And BCIA is the Biofeedback Certification International Alliance. So that's the credentialing agency for our industry that's a highly reputable place to go if you're looking for a BCIA certified provider.
Can a provider facilitate those services without the BCIA knowing?
They can.
Really?
It's just, again, when you're working with the brain, and one of the things when I was first introduced to neurofeedback, it was a different company than the company I currently work with, their software, their normative database, and their clinical support. So this other company was like, oh, it's harmless, it's non-invasive, you can't cause any harm. You can train the brain in the wrong direction, right? So I think you want to know that the person who you're working with is going to train your brain in the right direction and knows what they're doing.
Okay, so that's really important. And I instead of putting a pen, I'm just going to say it right now. So if you're watching and all of a sudden you think that this is something that you want to look into and you're looking for, somebody that can facilitate the services, that Tonya is talking about, neurofeedback therapy, well, first of all, we hope you reach out to her. But if for some odd reason you are somewhere else, you're watching somewhere else outside of, the Treasure Valley here in Boise, Idaho, and you're looking to perhaps, do some research into those services, again, they should check with BCIA, which stands for, again, what?
The Biofeedback Certification International Alliance.
Biofeedback Certification International Alliance.
Yes.
Okay, so jot that down there, Idaho. Don't forget, because you don't want somebody retraining your brain the wrong way. That sounds all sorts of screwy.
Right.
So, anyways, thank you for putting a little bit of I kind of interrupted our flow. Sorry,
That's
but
okay.
I think that sounds like very, very important.
Yeah.
I would want to know. Now, of course, I don't want to sound here like a jackass. I was able to train with you. You helped me tremendously, and I don't want to sound all endorsey-like, but I would like to think that you did not train my brain the wrong way, and you didn't.
I mean, that's part of why we do the before and after EEG. So I always do an EEG before I start training so that I can actually assess the brain in its current state. And I don't just listen to people tell me, okay, these are the symptoms or these are the problems that I'm having, because what is going on in the brain can look a lot of different ways. For example, someone with ADHD can have any number of abnormal brain patterns. They can have too much theta, they can have too much high beta, and it all results in a difficulty focusing and concentrating. Well, theta and high beta are two very different frequencies, so we want to know which frequency is out of alignment before we start your training protocol.
Okay. And when you're saying, using terminology, when you're talking about something like high beta, or I believe you said delta.
Theta.
Theta. So what does that mean?
So the brain, we're talking about the frequency of your brain waves, and your brain has all of the different frequencies coexisting in all parts of the brain at all times, but in different ratios. For example, in the back of the brain, you would have more alpha. In the front of the brain, more beta. So when we're taking an EEG, I'm actually using medical equipment with a 19-lead EEG, so the same equipment that is used at a hospital, to assess the brain function prior to starting. And what I do is I take the EEG, I compare your data with a normative database that has over 50,000 other people in it. And so they look at people who are in your age range and your gender, and they compare your brain frequencies in each of the different regions to the normative database. And that helps us to determine which parts of the brain are going too fast, which parts are going too slow, which parts are over-connected, like too connected, you're using the neural pathways way too frequently, or which parts are hypo-connected or under-connected and aren't communicating enough with each other. So, I don't know if we want to talk about your particular...
Sure, let's talk about mine. Pull up the imagery.
Yeah. So, in your particular brain, you were having trouble with sleep.
Yes.
And a little bit of anxiety.
A little bit, get a little squirrely.
Some life experience. Situations that had maybe led into those conditions. And it had been ongoing, from what I understand, for a number of years.
Yeah, it is. For several years. I'm talking well over a decade.
Right.
I have usually not slept for more than 6 hours.
Yeah.
Unless I've been up for days on end, which has happened before too.
And difficulty falling asleep.
Difficulty falling asleep, difficulty in staying asleep, waking up in the middle, I'll have like
Right.
a body twitch, and that
Yeah.
will wake me up. Like my legs will shake at random times during the night, and then also, but still having like a high level of energy that
Yeah.
would just then, me being a morning person, when I enter like the later part of the afternoon, it's just start to crash.
Right.
Only then to transition to nighttime, you figure like, oh, I'm really tired, I'm gonna go to sleep, and like, nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was all over the place.
Right. So, I mean, in your particular brain, and a lot of people who come in and have EEGs have the same problem. Too much high beta.
Mm-hmm.
And each of the brain frequencies, so is associated with a different state of awareness. So if we start at the slowest frequency, delta, that's the frequency that's most common in occurrence when you're sleeping. So
Okay.
slow frequency, slow waves, delta is associated with sleep. And so we want to have more delta when we're sleeping than when we're awake. Someone who has too much delta when they're awake would feel very unfocused and kind of sleepy.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next fastest frequency is theta, which is called hypnagogic reverie. So I kind of tell people theta is like when you've been driving down the highway and you don't remember what happened the last 10 miles, the brain is in the theta state. So it's kind of this dream, it's between awake and asleep, but it's more of a dream-like, almost trance-like state, very creative state. And the next fastest frequency is alpha, which is a wave associated with meditation, calm, focus. And then beta, when we're tasking, when we're doing our work, when we're highly productive, our brain has more beta wave. And then high beta is not a super functional wave, which is what your brain had going on, both when your eyes were open and eyes closed.
Yeah, I think it's like a whole lot of yellow. Or
Yes, a whole lot of yellow.
Yeah.
And so when someone has too much high beta, that is associated with anxiety and insomnia and difficulty relaxing. And I think part of it, just in modern culture, we're constantly entraining our brain with our devices that are at 60 hertz. And our brain optimal function range is between about 12 and 20 hertz. So we're training up our frequency of our brain by using our devices so much in our day. So a lot of people who come to me have way too much high beta. And then they have the subsequent problems, difficulty sleeping, difficulty relaxing, kind of feeling like they're in an anxious state. And then sometimes even difficulty concentrating, because when your brain is going so fast, it's hard to really dial
Right.
in and focus.
No, yeah, I could never do yoga.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's so good for you. And I was like, I cannot do this right now. This is so, and it's not, I would describe it as boring, but really what it was is just, I just could not reach what a lot of the people around me were able to reach, and it was incredibly frustrating.
Yeah.
And then I just tried to use it as a means to just become more flexible. But if you're not relaxed and you're not using the appropriate type of breathing, and it's just the patterns that come along with it, they're not online. It was just like, it was a mess.
Right.
So, but it was really cool, and I'm gonna steal some of your thunder now.
That's
because
fine.
I'm so stoked. I'm very happy that I ended up connecting with you, and you ended up helping me out, because I think something along the lines of after 20 or 24 visits, I don't recall.
Yeah, 25.
25, sorry.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's okay.
I was able to sleep.
Yeah.
I was able to not only go to sleep, but then stay asleep.
Right.
And then on top of that, I felt rested when I woke up, because that was another problem. There's even if I went to sleep and through some sort of miracle, I didn't wake up in the middle of the night. And also we have young children and all that other stuff, and I know that was also part of that. But I was doing that before we even had kids. But to be able to feel rested, and I was able to manage to start getting 6 hours of sleep. And 6 hours of sleep, I can take on the world when I have 6 hours of sleep. It's amazing. And now I think I'm average between 6.5 to 7 hours of sleep, and a lot of that is thanks to you and you working with me. So it means a lot to me.
Yeah.
So thank you.
It's my pleasure.
And I know that neurofeedback can help with a number of different things, and I think it has a lot to do also with the person that is facilitating the training. It also has to do with how much the person is trying to put towards their training as well. I remember I had to cut out my nightcaps.
There's some habit changes that definitely can affect your training progress. Right.
So the sleep
I'm always
hygiene,
encouraging healthy habits.
Yeah, I did have to set up an alarm to make sure I wasn't watching late night TV, and I wasn't like drinking past like 7 p.m.
Yeah.
So that was a big switch for me because I enjoy me a tiny little bit of whiskey.
Well, and I think I always tell people, like, you don't have to be perfect all the time. I mean, I really encourage.
I certainly wasn't.
You know, kind of the 80-20 rule. Like, let's try to do this, you know, maybe Monday through Friday, and then on the weekends you can.
Yeah, and it became a very scheduled thing, but it was cool because I was able to, well, again, I was also very motivated. Because I found out through my father-in-law, who is the one that introduced us, you know, what your services facilitated to one of your other clients, in which this lady got really awful little to no sleep or no rest, and she was able to make a big turnaround.
Yeah, she's given me permission to talk about her case to anyone. I won't use a name, but she had actually gone sometimes up to a week without sleeping.
Yeah, which I think can kill you or something.
I mean, it really significantly affects your ability to just
to function like a regular. Yeah.
And she had been through some significant trauma with losing a family member, so that of course didn't help things. And again, she, like you, is able to sleep regularly, and she doesn't require any medication, which she had taken a number of different medications, which were marginally helpful to her.
Yeah. Now, her case and my case, so the one thing that her and I have in common was just the whole sleep thing.
Right.
But like you mentioned earlier, neurofeedback therapy can be helpful with other ailments or other conditions.
Definitely, I've worked with a lot of people with depression and anxiety.
Okay.
And those are pretty common patterns in the brain. And I won't get too technical, like what that looks like.
Right.
But there's actually ways to train the brain to have a more stable mood or to be more resilient. Attention deficit, I don't like to use diagnoses, but focus and attention are often problems for people that have, you know, abnormal brain patterns. So I, for example, train my own son, and he is no longer taking medication for attention, which I think is
big deal.
A huge improvement. He's 18, he's interested in doing ROTC, the military, and they don't want you to be on psychoactive medications.
Right.
So this is allowing him to have that option.
No, that's big. Now, not to put you in the spot, but what is, we just like with anything, there's different types of therapies and different types of solutions for people that has several different types of ailments. What is like the rate of success, I guess, with people that are trying neurofeedback therapy as a means of, you know, alternate, I don't want to call it alternate medical solutions?
Yeah. Well, it very much varies by patient and by clinical problem. But if we're looking at like evidence-based studies on neurofeedback, the best studies for neurofeedback are on attention and focus, insomnia, migraine headaches. There's a lot of really strong evidence-based studies for migraine headaches. Mood is a little bit lower. Number of studies and number of double-blind placebo-controlled trials. Things like autism are very difficult to treat, so that would be a lot lower success rate. But a really good success personally with insomnia, with anxiety, with headaches, with mood.
Okay.
I mean, so far, everyone I've worked with has seen a significant improvement. I have no one who's been like, I want my money back, which is good because I've spent 25 hours with them. So, you know, whether they have improvement or not, that's still a lot of time invested. So thankfully, everyone has experienced value from their training.
Yeah, I mean, I have.
Yeah.
Another question for you. Yeah, no kidding. What about children? Can children be treated with neurofeedback therapy?
I love working with children. So the youngest child I've worked with so far is just 11.
Okay.
But it was actually, their brains are so resilient. So it's great to work with kids. Like after her first session, she went home and her parents were texting me, oh my gosh, she did this, she did that. So they were noticing a shift even just after one session. So children are incredibly fun to work with because they get such great results. I mean, they have very neuroplastic brains. Their brains are malleable and they're still learning.
Okay. Again, not to put you on the spot because I don't want you to feel like I'm picking on you. So the reason why I asked about children is because something that you mentioned a little bit earlier with autism, which you cannot necessarily. It seems like you're being very careful and you're not saying like, okay, this is like a cure or anything like that. And I don't know if you have off the top of your head, at least like children or adults with autism, like if there's like a certain rate of success or not. But if there was, and mainly with parents who are trying to help those children, whether they're young or young adults, along those lines, like what are some realistic expectations, I guess, because I'm trying to be very careful because I don't want it to, I know what neurofeedback did for me.
Right.
And it's amazing and I value it highly. So I can put my endorsement on that. It worked, but it worked for me.
Yeah.
But I also, going back to what you mentioned earlier, where like not everybody is trained the same way.
Right.
Not everybody is I don't know if I want to use the abiding, but they don't check through the BCIA.
Yeah.
Which is what is it again?
Biofeedback Certification International Alliance.
Right.
Yeah.
So is that something that parents should be in what should be their mindset going into it? What should they be looking for? Because there's got to be some realistic expectations, and autism is already it can be such a taboo.
Right.
As far as like how to help young people and especially children.
I think that with autism, I mean, there's a struggle across all therapies. There's a struggle with medication therapy, diet modification, neurofeedback. I mean, I wish that there were better prognostics with autism for any single therapy. I think ends up being a kind of a constellation of different supportive treatments or supportive measures for someone with autism. But I don't like to use the word cure. It's not a cure. But there's cases that I've heard, not my personal practice, I haven't worked with anyone with autism, but my mentor, where someone has gone from being nonverbal to actually speaking. I mean, that's a huge improvement right there. So, but again, I really want to manage expectations. Autism isn't something that I personally am seeking clients particularly for.
Right.
Because there isn't great evidence supporting efficacy with neurofeedback and a lot of other things.
So perhaps people should be a little bit wary if they're looking for a provider and then they say that they can something along the lines of like cure their autism or
well, any provider who's using the word cure I would be wary of.
Right.
This is a treatment, it's a training, and we're looking for improvement. Our brain is constantly learning. So neuroplasticity, which is what neurofeedback is utilizing, is happening constantly. It's just another word for learning. We're forming new neural connections as we go through life until we die. So we used to think that the brain was formed by age 5 and you're kind of stuck with what you got at 5. But that's not true. I mean, the brain continually learns. We're learning through all of our experiences. So neurofeedback, we're just learning in a focused direction. We're learning with a goal in mind. And as you know, I mean, just to talk about what the training involves, I mean, it's pretty relaxing. You just sit and watch a kind of calm movie, whether it's a documentary style movie, and the screen, so there's electrodes stuck to whichever area of the brain we're training, and that feeds into my amplifier, which feeds into my software, and then the feedback is the screen dimming when your brain is out of alignment with the goal protocol, and then the screen brightening when your brain is in alignment with the goal protocol. So as you remember, the screen is going in and out, kind of the whole time you're watching the show, and it's really one of those things where because it's operant conditioning, it's actually an unconscious form of learning. You can't really make the screen stay on or make the screen dim. You just have to sit and watch the show, enjoy the show, and trust that your brain is doing what it does best, which is learning through experience.
Right. Well, I appreciate you educating us in that and also your transparency about it too, because I know that would be something that if I wanted, my kids are not autistic, but a lot of people out there who their children, need a little bit of help. I don't want to say that they're struggling. I want to use the appropriate verbiage here. I don't want to offend anybody, but it's got to be difficult. It's got to be incredibly challenging, you know, and children are already challenging just on their own, you know, at a condition like that, it can be incredibly frustrating. So I wouldn't want somebody watching to think that this might be like an easy thing that is just going to take it all away. So I appreciate you explaining as to what people should be looking into if they're going to be choosing a provider and what expectations to manage. And I'm sure that if they have any more questions, then they can just get a hold of you.
Right. Well, I do, as you remember, I don't know if you remember, but I do an EEG, an evaluation EEG for anyone who's interested, just because I need to know what's happening in their particular brain before I can even say, oh yeah, I think we can make some progress. I think we can get some movement. Or, no, I'm not sure I can do anything with this training. So I do an EEG for anyone who's interested in evaluation EEG before I'll even start working with a client. And a lot of places charge $500 for an EEG. I'll do the EEG for free. I'll do a consultation for free just because it gives me more experience. I get to look at more brains. I find brains very fascinating. And that way I can, before I get someone to sign up for 25 hours of their time and commit to that kind of training, I can look at what's going on and see if we can actually make some progress.
Cool. That's awesome. Now, where do you foresee yourself and your practice in the future? What are you trying to accomplish, or where would you like to be at, or is there like an idea as to, you know, which direction you want to take as you continue down this journey? I mean, it helped you. You went from 10 years ago, you know, in a completely different career. Then you experienced some significant physical trauma, you know, and along those lines, you know, some mental trauma, and then it's like all sorts of personal challenges, and you were able to eventually overcome all that, transition out of that career, jump into like jump into new training, and then having to wait like a full 5 years in order for you to start your own practice. So clearly there's a great deal of patience and dedication and drive. And this is something that, you know, that you're passionate about. What do you foresee? And if you don't have any idea, that's fine too. But I get to thinking that maybe you have a little bit of an idea of what that might look like.
Well, I mean, every person that I'm able to help, every person whose quality of life I'm able to improve is such a gift to me. So that's what really drives my passion for this work. And if I am able to help more people and increase the number of people that I'm training, that would be, you know, the ideal for me. So down the road, as I get busier and busier, you know, hiring another clinician, maybe even someone who is a student, a psychology major, or someone in a counseling program, working with mentoring in that way to grow the ability to serve more people would be where I'm shooting for in 10 years.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, Tonya, thank you so much for taking your time to come over here and share with us not only your journey, but your story and everything that you're doing for helping people such as myself. And maybe somebody who's watching the show will be now, you know, have their catalyst to reach out and perhaps, you know, look into how you might be able to help them just the same way you have helped so many others already. So thank you so very much. Now, where can the fine folks watching My Idaho Friends can get a hold of you? How can they find you?
Well, my new website will be up by the time this episode is posted.
Boom!
So that would be paradigmhealingsolutions.com. So they can find me there, and there's a page on the website to sign up for a evaluation. My initial evaluations are 2 hours. So we do an EEG, a sample training session, and we talk about what people are hoping to accomplish with training. So that would be the first place to look for me. You can always text my phone, which is 208-992-6002. But the website's probably the way to go.
Okay. Wonderful.
And my office, for anyone who's interested, is in downtown Boise. So I'm very centrally located on 9th and Main Street in downtown Boise.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is wonderful. Tonya, thank you so very much. And thank you guys at home for watching today's episode of My Idaho Friends. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Don't forget, if you want to get a hold of Tonya and you're watching this episode, and you can always rewind and get that information, or just look down on our links that are going to be posted once this episode is live on YouTube thank you very much for watching. We very much appreciate you. And don't forget, Idaho, get out there and be kind to somebody. Have a good one.
Go ahead and get into our warm-up here first. Again, we are in week 2, Wednesday of week 2. So again, we're going to go 22 seconds of work. We're going to go 6 times through all 6 movements. And let's get into it here. Starting out with our cat-cows. Cat-cows. Big breath in. Arch, look up. Nice and gentle here. Don't push it too far, too fast. Breathe out, round, and look down. Make sure when we're breathing, we're pushing away from the floor there. And again, breathe in and up. Get a little bit further every rep here. Increasing range of motion. Filling the lungs with oxygen. Getting rid of CO2. Massaging your spine. One more. All right, and let's go into our Spider-Man with reach into our pup position, stepping right up next to your hand there, pushing the hips down and forward. Take the elbow to the instep, and then let's reach it up. Thumb's going to go horizontal, palm faces forward. Hold for a few seconds, then switch. By the way, level 3s, if you want here to get the chest warmed up, you can hit a push-up in between reps there. A few more reps. Should feel this in the hip, that back leg, hip, glutes. Again, we're going to open up the upper back and chest. Okay, going hand walkouts. Widen your feet. And we'll walk the hands back. Get a nice, mild, gentle hamstring stretch there at the top. And then we'll walk the hands back out. Bring the feet a little closer together, a few inches. Walk it back up. A little stronger hamstring stretch. And again, every rep, get a little bit further out. Get the feet a little bit closer together. Again, you want to ease your body into these stretches. Don't jump in too fast. One more. All right, onto our feet. We're going squat to stretch. Toes are forward. Grabbing the outside of the toes. Pull the chest up, chest through. Rip those knees out. Good squat position here. And then keep the hands on the feet at the top, stretching the hamstrings. And repeat. Try and get your back as straight as you can by pulling your chest through, hips through. Let's get one more rep, and then we're going to go into our Y stand. Okay, at the bottom here. Let's go Y with the arms. Stand up out of it, making sure we're ripping the knees out as we come up. Y, knees out, back down. One more. All right, lateral squats here. Pushing the hips down and back, sink down into it. Hold for a few seconds. Again, gentle here at first. Wake those hips up, get them stretched out. And then just sink down a little lower every rep. Trying to keep the heels down. Working on ankle mobility here as well. Sink down, rip the knee out on that bent leg. 5 seconds, one more. All right, and let's go into our mountain climbers, get the heart rate up a bit. Again, we're going to start out in that walk pace, just working good leg separation. Driving the knee up, back leg back. Keep the shoulders right up over the knuckles. Pick it up to a jog pace. Nice wide fingers here. Also stretching out the wrists. Get ready to sprint. A little faster. 3, 2, sprint. Fast you can, get going. 5, 3, 2. All right, good job. Catch a quick drink. Get ready to go. Helps if I have the camera on. You get us. All right, quick drink. Get ready. Bouncy, bouncy. All right, camera angle good? Everybody set? See us all right? Okay, all right, so again, we got 6 movements. We're gonna go through them 6 times. All out effort, trying to get the heart rate up, get your breathing up, hit it hard. 22 seconds of work, 15 seconds to catch your breath. Start out with our athletic bounce. So again, level 1s, we're not gonna leave the floor. 2s and 3s are gonna leave the floor. We got Glenn on 2 and Sarah on 3 today. All righty, let's get into it. Going in, 3, 2, let's go. So again, just here for level 1s. Keep the tension on. 2s and 3s, just getting those feet going as fast as you can. Should feel in the quads today, 10 seconds. Quick feet. 5 seconds. 3. Good, shake it out. We're gonna go down to the floor. We got pups, pup walkout for 2s and 3s. So just going back and forth with your hands, 2s and 3s as fast as you can. Going in 5. Get ready in 3, 2. Level 1s we're holding, or again, we can just go step, step. Keep the body rigid here. Try not to wiggle the hips. Core tight. Glutes tight. 10 seconds. Keep moving. Fast. Keep the body locked in. Quads, glutes, core. 3 seconds. 2. All right, we're back onto our feet. We're going into our split stance, right leg forward. So level 1s, we're just going to bounce here. The lower you get, the harder it is. 2s and 3s, we're going to leave the floor. Going in 3. And we'll stomp that foot down. 2. Let's go. Fast as we can. Good. Stay low, stay low, stay low. Concentrate on stomping that leg down, 2s and 3s. Level 1s, just bounce, feel it in the glutes, the hamstrings, the quad. 3 seconds, stay low. 2. Good job. We're going into our back plank. So level 1s, you got glute bridge or table. 2s and 3s, you're going full back plank. Level 3, you got to march. Going in 5. I'm going to show the glute bridge here. 2, 1, up. So level 1 here, I want to dig those heels in. So toes are up, digging it in, feeling the hamstrings and the glutes. I can get the hands up here for a little more stability challenge. 10 seconds. Dig here. We don't want to just hang out. Squeeze the glutes as hard as you can. Dig that hamstring in. 2. Good job. We're going split stance bounce. Left leg. 10 seconds. Get ready. Going in 5. In 3, 2, let's go. Quick feet, quick feet, quick feet. 10 seconds. Stay low. 3. Good job. We're going beast and beast bounce. So level 1, we're just going to hold. 2s and 3s, we're going to bounce. So hands and feet are coming up off the floor at the same time. Here, fast as you can. Going in 3, 2, go. Get as many reps there as you can. Little short, fast, choppy bounces. 10 seconds. Eyes up on the horizon. You got 5. Hold it. Come on. 3, 2. Good job. That's 1 down. Nice work. 1 down already. We got 5 left. Catch your breath. Grab a drink. Stretch out those quads a little bit. 30 seconds. When you stretch the quad, you want to make sure you're pushing the hip forward, squeezing the glute as you pull back. Keep your knees close together. If you need some kind of a chair here, go ahead and use it for balance. A little stretch there. Working a lot of quad today. 10 seconds. Round 2, get ready, starting with that athletic bounce. Athletic pulse for level 1's going in. 3, get ready. 2, set 2, go. 2s and 3s, we're just going as fast as we can there. Get those feet going. Level 1's, we're just bouncing, not leaving the floor. Quick feet should be up on your toes. 2s and 3s up on your toes. 5 seconds. Almost there. 3, 2, there we go. Okay, we got pop walkouts. Level 1, you got pop, hold, or step. 2s and 3s, we're going as fast as we can. Going in 5. Keep the core engaged here. I want tight core, glutes, stomach, shoulders. 3, 2, go. Lock the quads in. Level 1's again, we can step. Keep everything tight. As many reps as we can. Halfway. Lock it in. 3, 2. Good job. Okay, we're into our split stance. Bounce right leg. Level 1's, we're going to pulse. 2s and 3s, we're leaving the ground. And 5. Get ready. And 3, 2. All right, let's go. There you go. Stomp the floor. Stomp the floor. 10 seconds. Glutes, hamstrings, quads. Light it on fire. 4, 3, keep going. 2. There we go. All right, back planks. So level 1's, you got the bridge. I'm going to go tables this time. 2s and 3s, we're going back planks. 5 seconds. Squeeze the glutes. Dig the heels in. In 3, 2, go. So again, level 2s, if you bend your legs, and level 3s, you bend your legs a little bit, you'll feel a little more in the hamstring. If you keep it straight, just really focus on glutes, digging those heels in, pushing the hips up. 10 seconds. Squeeze the shoulder blades together as well. Push the chest through. 3 seconds. 2. There we go. Back onto our feet. We're going split squat bounce. Left leg. Get ready. In 5. Again, as many as you can. 2s and 3s. Quick touches. 3, 2, go. Level 1, just bounce there in between. Above the knee and below the knee. Come on. 10 seconds. Faster, Sarah. Faster. Come on. 30 seconds. Almost there. There we go. Okay, we got our beast hold, beast bounce. Finish it out, number 2. 5 seconds. In position, get ready in 3, 2, go. As many as we can here. Quick, come on. Ten seconds. Level 1's actively pushing away from the floor. Pull the shoulder blades apart. 5 seconds. Almost there. 3, 2. All right, we got 2 down, 4 left. 2 down, 4 left. Catch your breath. 60 seconds. Yeah. 30 seconds. Catch your breath again. We're going to stretch quads here a little bit. Keep those knees together. Push the hip forward. Squeeze the glutes. Catch your breath. Drop your heart rate. Try and recover here as much as we can. 10 seconds. Get ready to go. We got athletic bounce. This is going to be number 3. 5 seconds. Get ready, we're going in 3, 2, let's go. Good. Make sure you're getting off the floor with your toes, 2s and 3s, 10 seconds. Level 1s, make sure we're ripping those knees out. You got 5 seconds. Almost there, 3, 2, good job, come on out. You got pup, pup, walk out next, pup, pup, walk out. Again, on these pups, we want to get that core tight, so everything is focused on quad tightness, glute tightness, and core tightness. Keep it locked in, going in 3, 2, let's go. Again, level 1s we can hold, actively push, quads are tight, or we can step. 2s and 3s, just get those hands moving as fast as we can. Ten. Come on. 5. Almost there. Let's go. Good job. We got our split. Squat, pulse, and bounce. Focus on speed here. 2s and 3s. Going in 3. Constant tension for level 1. 2. Let's go. As you get tired, you can come up out of it a little bit more. Or we stay low if you can. Keep fighting for it. Faster's better here, faster's better. 10 seconds. Think about stomping through the floor, especially if you got people underneath you. Stomp through. Come on. Let's go. All right, we're going into our back bridge. Back plank. So again, level 1s, you got 2 options, glute bridge or table. 3, 2, and we're up. Squeeze those glutes, hamstrings. You want to keep the core tight, so I don't want to arch at the lower back. So stomach is tight to prevent that. Dig the heels in. You're trying to dig a hole in the floor here. Dig a hole in the floor with your heels. 5. Squeeze those glutes together. 3, 2. All right, back onto our feet. We're going to go left side. 10. And 3, get ready. 2 in position. Let's go. Ten seconds. Keep it going. 5 seconds. 3, 2, there we go. Get a little karate kick out of that. It's fun too. 10 seconds. Got a beast hold, beast bounce. 3, 2, finishing up number 3. Let's go. Level 1, holding, actively pushing, or we can go to a scat push up here. Squeeze together, push apart. 2s and 3s, you're just going as fast as you can. Get as many bounces as you can. By the way, you can go side to side on that jump if you want, forward and back. Play around with it. 3, 2. Good job. 3 down, 3 left. We're already halfway. Nothing to it but to do it. Catch your breath. Grab a drink. Stretch those quads if needed. We have 30 seconds, 30 seconds. $20. 10 seconds. Get ready, Kay. This is number 4. Number 4. Going in 5. Athletic pulse. In 3. Get ready. 2. We're bouncing. Let's go. Good speed, Sarah. There we go. Come on. Let's go. 10 seconds. Come on, come on, come on. 5. Finish it with a sprint. Come on. 3, 2. There we go. Shake it out. Pup, pup, walk out. Working the core. 10. In position, 5. All right, 3, 2, let's go. Strong bodies. World record for this is like 40 hours or 20 hours or something like that. 30 seconds, come on. 2. All right, split stance, bounce, right leg. 5 seconds. Again, catch your breath in these mini breaks. 3, 2, go. Fight for depth here, fight for depth. 10 seconds. Keep it up. Focus on the front leg. You're going to feel it in the back anyways. Focus on that front. 3, 2, karate kick. 10 seconds. All right, going back planks. I'm going to go table this time. Again, level 2s and 3s. If you bend the leg just a little bit, get a little more hamstring. Let's go. Don't forget about those shoulder blades. Squeeze them together. Drive your chest through as you're driving and squeezing your glutes and hips up. 10 seconds. 5, come on. 3, keep holding. 2. All right, we got split stance. Bounce and pulse. Left leg forward. Again, I want to focus on driving through that front heel. 5 seconds in. 3, 2, let's go. Try to get stronger here as the workout goes on. Just think of it as a long warm-up, getting better every round. 10 seconds. 5, keep it going. 3, 2, good, shake it out. And we got beast hold, beast bounce. Number 4, finish it out, 5 seconds. 3, we only got 2 more after this. 2, and we're up, let's go. Level 1 again, we can add scat push-up. 2s and 3s, you can bounce all over the place. You don't have to stay in one spot. Make it fun. Five seconds, come on. Keep it going. 3, 2. All right, 4 down. We only got 2 left. 2 left, catch your breath.
And you ask, does Brett Denton stay up at night thinking of new ways? Yes. Yes, he does. He does not sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. Need to lock it down. 15 seconds, number 5. 10 seconds. I used to have hair down on my shoulders, and I need one. 5 seconds. It's ugly. 3, get ready. Athletic bounce. Let's go. Come on. 10 seconds. Good athletic stance. 5 seconds. 3, stay low. 2, there we go. 1 down, pup, walk out. Got to get ready. Next week, we're adding bands and dumbbells. Next week, bands and dumbbells. 5, starting with body weight. 3, not to this. 2, let's go. Getting level 1, we can hold, make sure we're actively pushing, or we can step. 2s and 3s, we just want to lock down the core and get those hands moving as fast as we can. We're going for speed on that, not distance. 5 seconds. Keep it going. 3. All right, onto our feet. We got our split stance bounce. and pulse. 5, catch your breath, get ready. In 3, 2, let's go. Choosing 3s again. We're going to pick both feet up, stamp them down fast as we can. Level 1 pulsing. 10 seconds. 5, almost there. Oh, Glenn stood up. Party foul. 3, 2, woo! Shake it out. 10 seconds. It's like riding a bull. All right, 5 seconds. Tables, back planks, in 3, 2, go. Okay, in level 1, we can go here, we can go here. Level 3, nice slow march there. I want you to focus on the glute. Feel it in the glute as you bring that leg up. Trying to get that knee past your hip. In 3, 2, and we're back up. Split stance bounce, left leg forward. 10, 5, in position, get ready. In 3, get ready. 2, let's go. Knees up. 10 seconds. Quick, fight through it here, fight through it. 3 seconds. 2, stay low. Good job, we got one more here. Beast, beast bounce. Finish out number 5. Almost done. 5 seconds. Good start to a Wednesday morning. Going on 3, 2, let's go. Good job, 10 seconds. Come on, 3, keep it going. 2, 1. All right, 5 down, 1 left, good job. Catch your breath. 60 seconds, come on.
Frank, can I borrow your quads last round?
Yeah, yeah, you can borrow my quads. 30 seconds. Again, good time to kind of stretch those quads out, control your breathing. Trying to get the heel to the glute as I push the hip forward and pull back. Most everybody's tight in their quads. A lot of times we have knee issues, tendonitis issues, tightness in the knee. It's from a tight quad and or tight hip flexor. 10 seconds. Last one here. Let's get after. We got athletic bounce. You only got 6 rounds left. 6 rounds. 1 time through. Going in 5. Get ready. In 3, 2, finish it out. Let's go. Best round of the day right here. Come on. We're 10 seconds. Try and sprint here at the finish. Sprint at the finish fast as we can. 5. There we go. Come on. Pick up speed. 3, 2. There we go. Good job. Last 10 seconds. Let's sprint it out. 10. All right, we're going to do our pup walk out. 5, catch your breath, get ready. 3, 2, let's go. Level 1's holding. 2s and 3s. Let's get those hands going. Ten seconds. Stay active. Quads, glutes, stomach, shoulders, lats. 3, 2. Nicely done. 2 down, 4 left. We got a split. Squat. Bounce and pulse. Right leg forward. Finish it out here. 5 seconds. In position. In 3, 2. We're going. Fast you can. 15 seconds. Sprint the last 10 in 3, 2. Sprint, let's go, fast you can, come on. Get it going. Fight for it, stay low. You got 3, keep moving. 2, Good job. Back planks. 10. 5. 3, 2, we're up. Concentrate on the glute squeeze, shoulder squeeze. Hips high, chest high. Dig the heels in, 2s and 3s. 3, that's a slow march. Focusing on the down leg, squeezing that glute. 5 seconds. Hold it out. 3, 2. Good job. Back onto our feet. Only got 2 rounds left. Left leg. Split stance. In 5. Get ready. Going in 3, 2, let's go. $15, come on. Faster, pick up speed, get ready to sprint in 3, 2, fast we can, let's go. Get it going, make some noise, stomp the floor. There we go, 5. Get it going, 3, almost there, 2. Woo! Beast hold, beast bounce, finish it out. The good thing is next week we got 2 more seconds. No, 3 more seconds, 5 seconds. Get ready, 3, 2, beast bounce, go. Come on. Good job, get ready to sprint. 3, 2, fast we can, finish it out, let's go. Come on. Again, we can go sideways, front to back, little jump jack action. 3, 2, woo! Good job, crew. Wednesday is done. Catch your breath, you have a great day. We'll see you here tomorrow again, 8 o'clock. Own it on 3, own it on 3. 1, 2, 3, own it.